Hello. Good evening, students. Can you hear me?
Sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Shall we start? Yeah.
Sir,
I think so. Yes. Yes.
sir, my name is Nandakishore. I'm a new student in the
Okay.
academy.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Ganesh. Sure. Sure.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I think so. Last class we stopped with the dehydration. Am I right? Dehydration of alcohol. So let's start from there itself also. Say for example, if I'm taken on alcohol, you just assume it. This is an alcohol. It's a 2 degree or 3 degree alcohol, or it may be 1 degree alcohol, whatever it may be. So it may involving in presence of acid, there will be a removal of water molecule will be taking place. How? Because the oxygen has 2 lone pairs, out of which 1 lone pair can be donated to attract the H plus ions, because that is in the form of acid. Okay. Now what will happen? The carbon, and here also carbon, and here one oxygen is there, and one hydrogen is there. The newly coming attracted hydrogen is here. Because of donation of electron, the oxygen got positive charge. Now we know that very clearly, oxygen is highly electronegative one, but here it has positive charge. So then what it will prefer? It will try to become electron rich. That's what it can pull electron from what? Where? From carbon. It can pull the electron from the carbon, and it can left as neutral water molecule. So left as water molecule. What will be the remaining part? So here C, H is there, and here one more carbon is there, because the carbon can donate electron to oxygen. That's what the carbon getting positive charge. So if the carbon is getting positive charge, so if you want to stabilize it, the hydrogen will donate its electron pair to carbon, and it left as H plus. So there will be a liberation of acid will be there. So whatever the acid we used in the initial stage, that can be rectified, that can be collected after the reaction is completed, so that the acid will be acting as a catalyst here. So the electrons can shift over here, and that is what it got negative charge, that can shift the electron to this. Then what I will get? I'll get alkene as my product. Okay, so it's nothing but slight amount of heat will be applied, very little bit amount of heat will also be applied to remove the water molecule from the alcohol. This is nothing but a dehydration of alcohol. Dehydration of an alcohol. Are you able to understand this? This is a very important mechanism. Many years we asked in board, nearly, if you taken a question paper, nearly 10 years question paper, you can see this question paper, write the mechanism of dehydration of alcohols. So likewise, they will be asking nearly 5 to 6 times they ask. Okay, that's what that much of important reaction is. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So then suppose if I'm taken 1 degree alcohol, then what I will be getting? So what kind of product I can get? Say for example, if I'm taken C2H5OH is my alcohol. This is a 1 degree alcohol, you know that. And here in presence of acid, H2SO4 I'm using. The temperature should be given this much, because 1 degree alcohol is not that much of reactive. That's what we have to use this temperature along with the acid. So what kind of product I can obtain? By using the above mechanism, you can suggest what kind of product I can obtain here. By using the above mechanism, what kind of product I can obtain for these alcohol? Here in the reaction mechanism we discussed about, alcohol is there. What about the final product?
This is C2H4 plus H2O, sir.
C2H4. Very nice. So CH2 double bond CH2 along with that water I can. Is that clear? Very nice. And suppose if I'm used 2-degree alcohol, CH3, CH, OH, and here also CH3. So, but here also I can use some amount of acid, but little bit amount of acid is enough. 80% of H2SO4 is enough because 2-degree alcohol is somewhat reactive. That's what we can reduce the temperature also. 440 Kelvin itself, the reaction will carry it over. That's what we can reduce the temperature as well as the amount of acid we are using. Okay, now what kind of product I can apply? What is the product I can obtain here from this 2-degree alcohol? This is 1-degree alcohol.
Okay, two products, sir. There are two products obtained, sir, or one product, sir.
Can you name it the compound?
Sir, one is CH2 double bond CH single bond CH3, sir.
Very nice. Okay.
One
So
is
propene is my product. Okay, CH double bond CH2. Propene is my product. Along with that, elimination of water molecule. Is that clear? Fine.
sir, but we can remove the bond from either carbon, no, sir.
Yeah. Whatever. That is not a problem. So it is a 1 propene. So no problem with that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And suppose if I'm taken 3-degree alcohol, CH3, COH, here also on CH3, here also on CH3, 3-degree alcohol I'm taken. Here just I have to use very little bit amount of acid, even 20% of acid is enough. 20% of acid is enough. Even the temperature is also 355 Kelvin. It's enough to conduct the reaction. Okay, because 3-degree alcohols are more reactive. 3-degree alcohols are more reactive. That's what now need of high amount of acid as well as the temperature. Okay, so here what kind of product I can apply? Here what kind of product I can obtain for 3-degree alcohols? Anybody?
Is it 1-methyl, 2-methyl propene, sir?
2-methyl propane. 2-methyl propane. Okay, very nice. So CH3, C double bond CH2 anywhere CH3. Okay, so this is what 2-methyl propane. So the overall reaction is nothing but, so suppose I'm writing the C2H5OH in terms of CH3 CH2OH. Okay, right. So overall reaction, if you want to write in a simple manner, so just we can remove this OH. This is the alpha carbon. From that alpha carbon, you remove the OH group, and from beta carbon, next to the alpha carbon is called beta carbon. From the beta carbon, one hydrogen should be eliminated. So then I can get my product like this. Suppose from here, this is a alpha carbon, and this is a beta 1, and this is a beta 2. So wherever I can remove the hydrogen. Okay. So if I remove beta 1, I can get this product. If I remove from beta 2, I can get a product like this. CH2 double bond CH single bond CH3, both are same. Okay. So our ultimate aim is removal of OH group from alpha carbon and removal of hydrogen from beta carbon. That's it. Okay. Then I can get a product like this. Here also the same thing. Removal of OH group from alpha carbon and removal of hydrogen from beta carbon. Here I have 3 beta carbon. You just consider beta 1, beta 2 or beta 3. Suppose if I remove beta 2 carbon, then I can get this product. Okay, if I remove it from beta 3, I can get a double bond here. Okay, double bond here. Okay, is that clear? This is for beta 2. All the products are same. Suppose if it is eliminated from beta 1, CH2 double bond C, CH3, here CH3. Okay, this kind of product I can get. This is for beta 1. If I remove it from beta 3, what I will get my product? CH3, C double bond CH2, here CH3. That's it. Is that clear?
Which is the major product, sir?
Sorry, everything is same product only. All are same only. All are same product. Okay, so there is either if beta 1 hydrogen is removed, or beta 2 hydrogen is removed, or beta 3 hydrogen is removed. Everything is the same product. Okay, if you name this compound 1, 2, 3, so 2 methyl propene. If you name this compound 1, 2, 3, 2 methyl propene. If you name this compound 1, 2, 3, 2 methyl propene. So everything is same. So no need to worry about that. Okay, so everything is a major product. All the products are major one. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Have you noted? Just take a note down. Then we'll move on to next topic. Once you noted, please inform me.
Done, sir.
Okay, fine. Our next topic is oxidation of alcohols. This is much important. Oxidation of alcohols. Oxidation of an alcohol. Oxidation. So actually here, suppose if I'm taking alcohol, before that we need to look at some oxidizing agents. So oxidizing agents, here we have many kind of oxidizing agents, strong oxidizing agent, weak oxidizing agent, like that. Okay. Say for example, if I'm taken HNO3, it's a good oxidizing agent. H2CrO4, then K2CrO4, potassium chromate, K2Cr2O7, potassium dichromate, KMNO4, potassium permanganate. These are all very, very strong oxidizing agent. Strong oxidizing agent. These are all some of the examples. Strong oxidizing agent. If it is a strong oxidizing agent, some of the reagents will be in the form of weak or mild oxidizing agent. Weak or mild. You can say weak or mild. PCC and PDC. What is PCC? That is pyridinium chlorochromate, and here pyridinium dichromate. Yeah, these are all the important weak oxidizing agent. PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. PDC, pyridinium dichromate. Okay, so very important oxidizing agents. So in general, alcohols undergo oxidation. So to form some oxidized product, we must aware of this. So suppose if I'm taken alcohol or CH2OH, you consider this as an alcohol. If alcohol is getting oxidized, I can get two different products. Either I can get aldehyde or I can get ketone. Okay, so if it is further oxidized, it can form carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid. Very, very important note. So if alcohol is oxidized in presence of oxidizing agent, let us discuss what kind of oxidizing agent will form aldehyde, ketone, all we'll discuss. And here it is aldehyde, and here it is ketones, and here it is carboxylic acid. You should know one thing. So when we are to use weak oxidizing agent and when we are to use strong oxidizing agent, that is very important. Suppose if I want to convert alcohol to aldehyde, then I can use weak is enough. Weak oxidizing agent is enough to convert alcohol into aldehyde. Okay.
So I can explain, sir.
Sorry.
Can you explain this one again, sir?
Yeah. So the weak oxidizing agent is enough to do oxidation to form aldehyde. Okay, I will explain you. I will explain you all those things. And suppose if I want to get ketone, what I have to do? So the ketone will give only in presence of strong oxidizing agent. Ketone is getting formed from alcohol with the help of strong oxidizing agent, not in the case of weak oxidizing agent. In presence of weak oxidizing agent, alcohols form aldehydes generally. Okay, that based on degree of alcohols also. Okay, I'll explain you all those things. And here, from aldehyde to carboxylic acid, from aldehyde to carboxylic acid, also, what is that? Weak is enough. Weak is enough. Okay. From ketone to carboxylic acid, strong is needed. Strong oxidizing agent is needed. Okay. So the thing is, if I want to convert alcohol to aldehyde, weak is enough. Weak oxidizing agent is enough. And aldehyde to carboxylic acid, weak is enough. From alcohol to ketone or ketone to carboxylic acid, whatever the conversion which that means which coming through the ketone, so we have to use strong oxidizing agent. Okay, both are strong oxidizing agent should be used. Okay, is that clear? Suppose if I want to convert alcohol directly to carboxylic acid, this time also I can use a strong oxidizing agent. Alcohol to straight away carboxylic acid. That reaction will be taking place via the formation of aldehyde only. But if we use strong oxidizing agent, it straight away it can give carboxylic acid. Is that clear? This is very, very important. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And next one is CH3, CH2, OH. Suppose this is a 1 degree alcohol. Am I right? Because we know that alcohol, we have to able to find out the degree of alcohols. So this is a functional group. This is star carbon or alpha carbon. Alpha carbon attached with only one carbon. That is what it is, 1 degree alcohol. If I oxidized 1 degree alcohol, okay, if I oxidized 1 degree alcohol, so if I use the weak oxidizing agent like a PCC, what will happen? It forms aldehyde as a product. We know that. Am I right? From alcohol to aldehyde, if I use weak oxidizing agent, it will form aldehyde as my product. Okay. In what way it can give the product? This is very, very important. So it can remove two things. Hydrogen, one of the hydrogen from functional group, another hydrogen from alpha carbon. Okay, now you can check it. CH3 CHO only is there. So I can get my product CH3 CHO. This is what I got, aldehyde as a product. Nothing but dehydration. Sorry, dehydrogenation. So the removal of hydrogen will also be considered as oxidation. Am I right? The removal of hydrogen is also an oxidation. Addition of oxygen is also an oxidation. Okay, this is the first step. Suppose if I used further some weak oxidizing agent like that, PCC like that, then what I will get? CH3 COOH, carboxylic acid I can get. So here the removal of hydrogen will oxidize to form aldehyde as a product. Here the addition of oxygen will form a product as carboxylic acid. Is that clear? This is very, very important. So just you can remove the hydrogen from functional group, another hydrogen from alpha carbon. Then it forms aldehyde as a product. That aldehyde will undergo oxidation further. The addition of oxygen is also an oxidation. That's what it can form, CH3COOH. So here only one oxygen is there. Here 2 oxygens are there. Okay. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Suppose if I'm taken a 2 degree alcohol, CH3CHOH, CH2. Next trick is, we know that If it is a 2-degree alcohol, it forms ketone as a product. Okay, 1-degree alcohol producing aldehyde, 1-degree alcohol producing aldehydes, 2-degree alcohol producing ketones. So by the way of removal, first step is nothing but the removal of hydrogen. One of the hydrogen from functional group, another hydrogen from its attached carbon, that is alpha carbon. Now we can get CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Ketone as my product. It's just a trick. It's not a mechanism, just a trick. Okay. So here also the oxidizing agent will remove the hydrogen. In terms of dehydrogenation, the oxidation is taking place. Okay. By the way, I can get ketone as a product. Okay. Suppose here, if we use oxidized further, okay, further the ketone is getting oxidized, then what will be my product? Same product, carboxylic acid, CH3COOH, carboxylic acid as my product. Is that clear? So very simple, but here oxidizing agent we have to use very strong, because alcohol to ketone and ketone to carboxylic acid, everything we have to use strong oxidizing agent that I mentioned here. Alcohol to ketone or ketone to carboxylic acid, whatever it may be the way. So I can use strong oxidizing agent like KMNO4. I can use it. Okay, here I can use KMNO4. Here also KMNO4 I can use it. Okay, these are all the important oxidizing agents to convert 2-degree alcohol into ketone and ketone into carboxylic acid. Is that clear? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, nice. Suppose if I'm having 3-degree alcohol, what kind of product we can expect? Just assume it, CH3, C, here also CH3, here also CH3, and here OH. Suppose if it is getting oxidized, definitely we have to use strong oxidizing agent. Okay, if I use strong oxidizing agent, what will be my product in general? You just correlate these two reactions. Okay, 1-degree alcohol and 2-degree alcohol, you just correlate it. So whether the reaction is taken place or not. You just you have a look on 1-degree alcohol, what kind of mechanism is going there. Initially it removes one hydrogen from here, and here one hydrogen from functional group, one hydrogen from alpha carbon. Here the same way you have to remove it. Is there any possibility to remove alpha hydrogen?
No, sir. Yes, sir. It's there.
No, there is no alpha hydrogen, right? This is the functional group. This is alpha carbon. There is no alpha hydrogen. Okay. So these are all the beta hydrogen, beta carbon. These are all beta carbon. Okay. There is no reaction. If we use oxidizing agent, there is no reaction at normal condition. Very important. The reaction will taking place, but at normal condition only this reaction won't happen. Okay. So when the reaction will happen, if we use very strong oxidizing agent, high temperature, high pressure, even in presence of catalyst only, this reaction will be taking place to form ketone as a product. Okay, this is also involving in the reaction, but at normal condition this reaction won't happen. Please understand, 1-degree alcohol forming aldehyde, 2-degree alcohol forming ketone, 3-degree alcohol at normal condition there is no reaction.
Sir,
okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, but you said the OH group will be removed from the alpha carbon and hydrogen will be removed from the beta carbon, right, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, but now how hydrogen will be removed from alpha carbon, sir?
That is what it won't remove from alpha hydrogen. There is no alpha hydrogen. That's what no reaction is taking place. Okay.
Sir, but in the alpha carbon OH is attached, sir, but only beta hydrogen is there, no, sir?
Yes. Generally, here what kind of reaction will be taking place? The possible reaction is the beta hydrogen is there. So it can remove the hydrogen and it can remove the OH, and dehydration reaction will be taking place. Here in both the case, dehydrogenation for 1-degree and 2-degree alcohol, dehydrogenation is taking place. But in 3-degree alcohol, dehydration is a possibility of reaction. Okay, it can form alkene as a product, but oxidized product it doesn't form. It doesn't form any oxidized product. Okay, so if you heat this, it will happen. That is the OH and the H from beta carbon. It will remove as water molecule. By that way, it can form alkene as a product. That possibility is there. But oxidizing, if you use oxidizing agent, there is no oxidation reaction is taking place. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just you can note it down. Then we'll move on to next page.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
So why are we oxidizing the aldehyde and ketone at the end, sir?
Sorry.
Why are we oxidizing the aldehyde and ketone at the end?
Where? What is the application you are asking, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So because aldehydes and ketones are generally, it has many application in industries. Even if you're using a nail polish remover, we are using a paint. So the paint can be used with the diluter only. It can be dissolved with the diluter. Okay. Many organic solvents. It will be ketone is a good organic solvent. Even acetone is a good organic solvent. So that kind of solvent can be prepared from alcohols. Okay, that's what we are going to make oxidation as a preferable reaction, because the industrial application is lot. That's what. Have you copied?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. And we used oxidizing agent. Instead of that, suppose if we use a dehydrogenating agent, then what will happen? Dehydrogenation. Dehydrogenation. What will happen? Dehydrogenation in the sense, suppose if I used RCH2OH, it's a 1-degree alcohol. Dehydrogenating agent is nothing but, say, for example, copper 573 Kelvin. It's a good dehydrogenating agent. It's not an oxidizing agent, it's a dehydrogenating agent. After dehydrogenation is over, the reaction is stopped. Okay. So here it can also remove the hydrogen from alpha carbon and hydrogen from OH group. Okay. And it can form RCHO aldehyde as a product. Okay. Suppose if we used RCHOH here, or 2-degree alcohol, if I'm taken copper 573 Kelvin, and it will form what kind of product? RC double bond OR. Why? Because it can remove hydrogen from functional group and hydrogen from alpha carbon. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So after that, further no more reaction will be continued. But in the case of oxidation reaction, it is not like that. You just compare these two reactions. In the case of oxidation, after forming aldehyde, if there is any oxidizing agent is present, then it forms further, it can form carboxylic acid. After forming ketone, if there is any oxidizing agent is there, it can try to form carboxylic acid as a product. But here, once the reaction is completed, because it's not oxidizing agent, it's a dehydrogenating agent, it can only remove the hydrogen from the reaction. Okay, so that is the difference between dehydrogenation as well as oxidation. Okay, in oxidation also first step will be the removal of dehydrogenation, but if you use oxidizing agent, that also remove that hydrogen from functional groups as well as alpha carbon. The same reaction will be taking place, but in presence of oxidizing agent, that further continue to form further oxidation as carboxylic acid. But here the reaction will be stopped from aldehyde and ketone itself. Okay. Suppose if we use 3-degree alcohol, then what will happen? CH3, CH3, here CH3, here OH. It's a 3-degree alcohol. And here also dehydrogenating reagent, copper 573 Kelvin. Copper 573 Kelvin. Here there is no dehydrogenating possibilities there because it doesn't have any alpha hydrogen. It doesn't have alpha hydrogen. It can remove the water. It can form dehydration as a product. Here also the product will be CH3, CH3, double bond CH2. That will be with the removal of water molecule. Okay. So here alkene is a product. Okay. So these two reactions are dehydrogenation. And this reaction is called dehydration. Okay. This is the important reaction, important exceptional case. Okay. Even in presence of copper 573 Kelvin, that 3-degree alcohols will undergo dehydration reaction instead of dehydrogenation. Is that clear? Just note it down. It's very, very important reaction. And next is finding of 1-degree, 2-degree, 3-degree alcohols. Just note it down. Then we'll move on to next. Once you copy it, please inform me.
Done, sir.
Yeah, okay. And next one is finding 1-degree, 2-degree, and 3-degree alcohols. Okay, 1-degree, 2-degree, 3-degree alcohols, how we can find it. So first test is oxidation test. Oxidation test, through which the oxidation of alcohols we can find out whether the given alcohol is 1-degree or 2-degree or 3-degree. Say for example, if I am using CH3CH2OH, it's a 1-degree alcohol, and just I am oxidizing it, I'll get my product as CH3C double bond OH aldehyde. Once I got aldehyde, further oxidation will be taking place if excess oxidizing agent is there. Okay, then only it can give CH3COOH carboxylic acid as my product. This is for 1-degree alcohol. So if suppose 2-degree alcohol, CH3CHOH, here CH3, and if it is oxidized with oxidizing agent, I can get my product CH3C double bond OCH3 ketone as my product. If further oxidizing agent is there, it can form carboxylic acid also as my product. Okay. So all these reactions we already discussed about this. That is oxidation test. And if suppose 3-degree alcohol, CH3COH, here CH3 again CH3, and this will undergo oxidation, what will be getting my product? It doesn't form, usually doesn't form any reaction because oxidation will not be taking place here, but at extreme condition, it forms what I told you, it forms ketone as a product. Okay. And further, it can get oxidized to form carboxylic acid as a product. But at normal condition, there is no oxidation reactions taking place. Okay. And here you just look at how many carbons are in this alcohol. 1-degree alcohol, how many carbons are there?
Sir?
How many carbon atoms are there in 1-degree alcohol?
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, in the first oxidation test, is that aldehyde, sir? CH3 C double bond O single bond.
Yes, aldehyde only. Yeah. Aldehyde only. Yes. Okay. How many carbon atoms are there in 1 degree alcohol? The first reaction,
2.
2. Okay. What about the aldehyde? Contain how many carbon atoms?
Has 2.
That's also 2. Carboxylic acid,
2, sir.
2. Okay. For 2 degree alcohol, how many carbon atoms are there?
3, sir.
3. Ketone,
3.
here also 3 carbon atom. Here 2
Two, sir.
carbon atom, 1 carbon atom is getting reduced, it removed. Okay, 1 carbon atom is removed. Okay, 1 carbon less carboxylic acid is getting formed. Okay, here 4 carbon atoms are there. This is for 3 degree alcohol. And here in the second step, first step itself, 1 carbon number is reduced. And here 2 carbon is there. So here, if suppose if I'm taken 1 degree alcohol, after oxidation, first oxidation, it formed 2 carbon containing aldehyde. Then further oxidation, 2 carbon containing carboxylic acid. So if there is no change in carbon content, then it confirms the presence of 1 degree alcohol. Okay. From the characteristic value, we can find out. Okay. So characteristic smell, characteristic reactions only we can find out. It's an experimental only. Okay. Experimental value. Suppose 3 carbon containing alcohol is there, 2 degree alcohol is there, and that forms 3 carbon containing ketone. And in the second step, there will be a reduction of 1 carbon atom. Okay, so that confirms the presence of 2 degree alcohols. Here, suppose whatever, because initially we don't know what kind of alcohol is given to you. Okay, so they may given some liquid to you. So you can oxidize it by the way of adding oxidizing agent. If it forms a ketone like acetone, so you have to test it for acetone also. Once you confirm the acetone is formed, then 4 carbon alcohol can be converted into 3 carbon ketone. Then it will be 3 degree alcohol. In the each and every step, 1 number of carbon is getting reduced. That's what it confirms the presence of 3 degree alcohol. Is that clear or not?
You can repeat again, sir.
Yeah, fine, no problem. Nothing but here initially we have taken 1 degree alcohol. 1 degree alcohol getting oxidized to form aldehyde. That further involved oxidation to form carboxylic acid. Each alcohol, aldehyde, as well as carboxylic acid, everything having same number of carbon atoms. Then it confirms the presence of 1 degree alcohol. Okay. In 2 degree alcohol, just I'm taking 3 carbon containing alcohol. Okay, they may given what kind of alcohols. So and then what is that? 3 carbon containing ketone. And here 1 number is getting reduced. That means after second oxidation. So the number of carbon atoms are getting reduces in the second step. Then it confirms the presence of 2 degree alcohol. So initially we have taken 4 carbon containing alcohol. In the first step of oxidation, it forms 3 carbon containing ketone. These are all the experimental value. From the experiment only, we have to find out whether the acetone is formed or not. So if acetone is formed, then it confirms the presence of 3 degree alcohol. Okay. It undergo further oxidation to form 2 carbon containing carboxylic acid. So 4, 3, 2. So initially first step 1 carbon reduced, second step 1 carbon reduced. Then it confirms the presence of 3 degree alcohol. Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Fine. You can copy it now. Then we'll move on to the next test. Once you copy, please inform. Okay.
Done, sir.
Okay. Have you all copied?
Yes, sir.
Next one is a dehydrogenation test. Dehydrogenation test. So these are all the tests to find out whether the given alcohol is 1 degree, 2 degree, or 3 degree. Say for example, if I'm taken RCH2OH, this is a kind of 1 degree alcohol, right? 1 degree alcohol. Just a minute. 1 degree alcohol. Then, if 1 degree alcohol is there, if it undergoes dehydrogenation reaction in presence of copper 573 Kelvin, what will be my product? My product will be aldehyde, okay, or CHO. Aldehyde as my product. Okay, fine. Suppose if I used a 2 degree alcohol or CHOH, here one R is there. So if I use the same thing, that is copper 573 Kelvin, it is nothing but a dehydrogenating reagent. Okay, it can remove these two things, hydrogen from functional group and one of the hydrogen from alpha carbon. Okay, so now I can get R C double bond O R. I can get ketone as my product. And 3 degree alcohol. If I'm taking a 3 degree alcohol, that is also reacting with the copper 573 Kelvin. What will be my product? Actually, dehydrogenation will not be taking place. We already talked about this. There will be a dehydration reaction will be taking place. That's what I can get formed alkene as a product. So wherever it can form C double bond O, CH2, and here CH3. Okay. So alkene as a product. Okay. So suppose they given alcohol in the test tube. Okay. So just I have taken this alcohol or this alcohol or this alcohol. Okay. This is 1 degree. This is 2 degree. This is 3 degree. Suppose I got this alcohol in a test tube. Okay. I don't know whether it is 2 degree alcohol or not. If I reacting with the copper and 573 Kelvin, it forms ketone as a product. So we have to test it further for ketone, okay, to identify ketone. If the ketone is responded, then my alcohol is 2 degree alcohol. Okay, it's a kind of test for alcohol. Suppose copper 573, instead of getting aldehyde and ketone, if I got alkene as a product, that confirms the presence of 3 degree alcohol. So this is through 2 degree alcohol. This confirms the presence of 1 degree alcohol. Is that clear or not? Very, very important. So actually oxidation, dehydrogenation is very important. Okay, oxidation also 3 degree alcohol does not undergo any oxidation reaction. Okay, at normal condition. After extreme condition only it will react to form ketone as a product. In dehydrogenation also 3 degree alcohol does not give any oxidized product. Okay, it can give alkene as a product. Dehydration reaction will be taking place. That's a two important exceptions. Okay, you must keep it in mind, these two things. Okay, is that clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Fine. Just you can copy it, then we'll move on it. And the very important third test will be Lucas test. Lucas test, already we talk about this. When alcohol is getting react with any HX, except a HF, okay, except a HF won't react. In presence of ZnCl2, zinc chloride, it will be acting as a catalyst. And what will be our reaction? So it will left over as water molecule. Then there will be a formation of RX along with water as my product. Okay. Okay. So the RX is nothing but it provides some turbidity. You know that turbidity nature. Turbidity is nothing but it's not crystal clear. Okay, it like to be a vague. It's not clear in the sense. The solution will not be in the form of clear solution. Crystal clear solution we can't obtain. We can get some of them, some white color precipitate is there. So likewise, okay, that kind of thing is called the turbidity. Okay, so the turbidity obtained immediately. Turbidity forms immediately. Then it confirms the presence of 3-degree alcohol. If the turbidity forms 2 to 5 minutes, after 2 to 5 minutes, it will form turbidity, means then it confirms the presence of 2-degree alcohol. Turbidity is nothing but, say, for example, if I have taken a water here, so just I'm adding a Dettol, you just assume a Dettol. If I use the Dettol, what will happen? So there will be a not clear stage will be there. Some kind of white color is there. Okay, the clear water initially it will be crystal clear. Once I add a Dettol, it becomes turbid nature. Okay, the turbidity will forms after reacting this alcohol and HX. Turbidity forms immediately. That confirms the presence of 3-degree alcohols. If the turbidity forms within 2 to 5 minutes, that confirms the presence of 2-degree alcohol. If there is no turbidity, actually here the turbidity is getting formed, but the rate of reaction is very less. It will take more time to form turbidity. That's why there is no turbidity at room temperature. At room temperature, that confirms the presence of 1-degree alcohol. If you heat this, turbidity form immediately. Turbidity forms immediately. So here the rate of reaction will be very, very slow. The slow reaction. It will take more time to form turbidity. That's what we assume, that at room temperature there is no turbidity, because it need to take 1 hour, 2 hours. It will take some time. Okay, so up to 2 hours, 3 hours, we can't sit in the laboratory itself. Okay, to get the result. Okay, that's what. So we assume that there is no turbidity is getting formed at room temperature. If you slightly heat this, the turbidity forms immediately. Okay, so this is a third test of finding out whether it is 1-degree alcohol, 2-degree alcohol, or 3-degree alcohol. Is that clear? This is another test for alcohol. Is that clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Just you can make a copy, then we'll move on to next page. I think so. Lucas test, you know that. I think so we already written. Okay. Yes, you can just make a note. Shall I move this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the question is, suppose they ask you to write the mechanism. The important 2-mark question. Mechanism for hydration of alkene to alcohol. How will you write? So this is very simple. So they are to ask you to convert alkene to alcohol. So just I'm taking CH2 double bond CH2, and this will be taking place just by the addition of water. It forms alcohol in presence of an acid. Okay, just by the addition of water, that is hydration reaction, it forms alcohol as a product. Initially, how it is getting initiated? So because we know that pi bond here, one of the bond is sigma bond, another bond is pi bond. The pi bond is easily breakable one. Okay, so it can shift these 2 electron towards to any one of the carbon, either to this side or to this side. Okay, so any one of the carbon it can shift because it's a symmetrical alkene, no problem with that. Okay, so here CH2 plus, wherever the arrow mark is there, that place negative charge. Okay, CH2 is there, and now I have H plus. Now what will happen? The minus charge from this minus charge will go and attack this H plus. It forms CH2 plus along with that CH3. Is that clear? After that only the water is getting added. Water, just you add water HOH. The water will also, the oxygen will contain lone pair of electron. Here there will be a diffusion center is there. A diffusion center is there. So the electrons can be donated to this center. What will happen? So it forms CH2, and here it forms O, one more H is there. Oxygen, here this OH oxygen will donate electrons. That's what it got positive charge. And here CH3 is there, just we can write it as CH3. So no problem with that. Okay. So now oxygen is usually highly electronegative, but here it existing as positive. Then it can pull electron from this carbon. So the carbon will donate electron to this oxygen, and there will be a removal of neutral water molecules. Okay, once the neutral water molecule is there, so that forms, otherwise there is no removal of water molecule, sorry. So here the formation of alcohol only, now the H plus will move off. Once the H plus will move off, minus H plus. Initially what we use the H plus, that will be regenerated here. So then what will be my product? CH2, CH3, here OH. Alcohol is the product. From alkene to alcohol I can get formed. So you have to write the hydration mechanism like this. This is very, very important mechanism. Okay, hydration of alkene and dehydration of alcohol. Okay, sometime the questions will be asked like this. I think that you copied this mechanism already. We already thought about this. Suppose if I'm taken some alcohol. Suppose if I'm taken this kind of alcohol. The question is, this alcohol is formed from which alkene? Some alkene is given. Alkene we don't know, but we have to find this alcohol is getting formed. So what is the alkene is?
The pentene, sir.
How will you find out? Sorry.
The pentene, sir.
Sorry, I can't get it. I can't very clearly.
Sir, is it pentene, sir?
Pentene. Okay, pentene. Sure. Whether 1 pentene, 2 pentene, 3 pentene, which kind of alkene is there?
2 pentene, sir.
Very nice. The question is, you assume that in the right manner, pentene is getting formed, but what kind of pentene is there? Whether it can form 1 pentene, 2 pentene, or 3 pentene. So that we have to look at. Okay. So we have to go with the backward reaction, because we know that alcohol, if you dehydrate this alcohol, you will get alkene. Am I right? So we know that alcohol, if you dehydrate it, You can get alkene as a product. Okay. If you have alkene, if you hydrate it, if you add water molecule, we can get alcohol. If you remove water molecule, I can get alkene. Okay, it's a both a balanced reaction. Okay, that's what we know that alcohol is there, so we can easily find out what kind of alkene is there. Okay, so by the way of, so what kind of reaction I have to take, whether this first reaction or second reaction, which one I have to take?
Second reaction.
Second reaction, right? Okay, so I have to remove water molecule. So just I'm taking some alcohol. This alcohol is given, and that should be dehydration of alcohol, in the sense that should be taken in presence of acid condition. Now we know that oxygen contains lone pairs that can donate to this hydrogen to form water molecule. Then what will be my product? And here I can get OH. The oxygen can be donated electron. That's what it got, positive charge, and it can attract H, hydrogen from acid. Okay. Right. Now we know that oxygen is highly electronegative generally, but now it has positive charge. It can pull electron from here. Okay, and make this carbon as positive, because that electron can be donated to oxygen, and that will be left over as water molecule. After that, what will be my intermediate? I can get intermediate like this. Okay, carbocation intermediate. So this kind of intermediate is getting formed. Okay, after this, so I want to get alkene as a product. So what kind of alkene is there? So if here we know that from that alpha carbon, this is functional group, this is alpha carbon, and this is beta carbon, this is beta carbon. Okay, you consider this is a beta 1, this is a beta 2. Okay, so dehydration in the sense what? From the alpha carbon, OH group is removed. From the beta carbon, hydrogen is removed. Okay, now I have a two possibility. I can remove hydrogen from here, or I can remove hydrogen from here. Okay, if I remove hydrogen from here, so from beta 1, you just remove it, beta 1. If I remove the hydrogen from beta 1, I can get a double bond. Okay, or otherwise, if I removed a beta 2 from beta 2, just sorry, and this is not beta 2, this is beta 2. And from beta 2, what will be my product? I can get a product like this. Now you can tell me which kind of alkene is more stable. I think so. We discussed in this in elimination reaction itself. Am I right?
Second one, sir, the green color, sir.
Green color, very nice. The green color alkene is more stable than this one. Why? Why?
Fruit, sir. It's a fruit, sir. It's a fruit, sir.
Yeah.
It's a fruit.
Because of alpha hydrogen containing group. Okay, so here the functional group is our double bond. So after double bond, here we have alpha carbon, here alpha carbon. So alpha hydrogen is there, but here one side only alpha carbon is there. This side there is no alpha carbon. That's what, less number of alpha carbon, less stable. More alpha carbon, more alpha hydrogen, more stable. Less alpha hydrogen, less stable. Is that clear? That's what. So what is my alkene? My alkene is pentene. Is my alkene. Okay, this is what my product. This is a major product. Okay, this will be the major product. This will be the minor product. Most probably this will be the major one. Okay, most probably what kind of product is the green color product is the major one. I can get formed alkene like this. Is that clear? Is that clear or not? If you have any doubt, you just ask me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just make a copy, then we'll move on to next. Once you copy, please inform. Then move on to next. Yeah. That's the question. Have you all copied? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we move?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I can give you same type of reaction. Can you find out the product? What kind of alkene is there? Have you tried? You have to try. Definitely you have to try. Here I can get CH3. Here is OH group is there. Okay. So here also alcohol is there, and we have to find out alkene. What kind of alkene is this? How will you find out? Very simple reaction. Where we have to start? Where we have to start? It should be react with. So whether a dehydration or hydration we have to do.
Hydration, sir.
Sure.
So because
Alcohol to alkene. Tapna.
no, sir, if hydration will add H plus and it will get converted.
That is dehydration. The removal of water means dehydration. Okay. So if you add H plus, it will be left over as water molecule. Then it forms, it's a dehydration reaction. Okay. Okay. So then it forms CH3 here. There will be a OH. Here H is there. Because of donation of electron, oxygen get positive charge. Now the oxygen pulls the electron from carbon. This carbon now is going to get positive charge. So here positive charge is there. Here CH3 is there, and here positive charge is there. Okay. Now, what kind of alkene is getting formed? How many possibilities are there? How many possibilities are there? What kind of alkene is I can get formed?
The two possibilities are there, sir.
Yeah, two possibility. Very good. Then what are all the possibility where I can get either from here or from here? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Here also on beta carbon is there, no? This is beta carbon. So this is alpha carbon. This is beta, and this is also beta. Okay. But generally this won't involve in the reaction because it contains more number of hydrogens. So here only one hydrogen is there. That's what either here or here. Either beta 1 or beta 2 will be taking place. Beta 3 won't give any major product. Okay. We know that Markovnikov rule and all. Okay. And here, what will be my product? Expected product. Either it can form product like this, CH3, if beta 1 hydrogen is removed. Or otherwise I can get, what kind of product I can get? Here CH3. Is that clear or not? If it is beta 2, if hydrogen removed from this carbon, the hydrogen is left over and that can provide electron to this carbon, then it form double bond. Or otherwise, this hydrogen, okay, this hydrogen is going to give electron to this carbon, then form double bond, either here or here. Okay. There is two possibility. The third possibility is very least one. So this won't happen. Okay. Generally, this won't happen. So if suppose if it is formed a product, it can give product like CH2. This is for beta 3. Okay. Generally, this won't happen, and either this or this will happen. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Which is the major product, sir?
Both. These two are major products.
Both will be in equal proportion,
Yeah.
sir.
Both are same product only. That's what we no need to name it. If it is different product, then we can go with which is major, which is minor. Both are same product. Then no problem with that. Both are major only. Both are same product. Okay. So if we name it, both are same. That's what we no need to worry about that major or minor. If we are getting a two different product, then we have to look at which is major, which is minor. But here we are getting same product.
Okay.
Okay, fine. And have you remembered these things? Say for example, oh, okay, sorry, you want to copy now? If you want to copy, you can make a copy. Once you copy, just inform me.
Done, sir.
Okay, fine, super. Okay, how will you do this reaction? How will you convert this? What kind of another reactant I have to add? Or how will you convert this ethyl magnesium bromide to propanol? How will you do this? Very simple trick. I think so. We learned in a last class.
In the presence of dry ether, sir.
In presence of
No, sir.
dry ether. Okay. In presence of dry ether, okay.
No, sir.
That is a reaction. But what about the another reactant?
So that alcohol, amines, water, proton donors.
Proton donors. Okay. Is there anything? Because here we are having only 2 carbon. Am I right? Here in alcohol, we are having 3 carbon. 1 carbon excess we have to add. At the same time, that should form 1 degree alcohol. Okay. So what kind of things I have to add? C2H5 MgBr with what I can get this 1 degree alcohol. So what I have to add it here? The reaction will be taken place in dry ether one. That's it. That's fine. What kind of things I have to take it from here? Have you remembered? I gave some tablet.
Ketone, sir.
Sorry?
Ketone.
Sorry, I can't get it, please.
Ketone, sir.
Ketone, sure. If you use ketone, you will be getting 3 degree alcohols only, na?
Sir, CH2OH, sir, or aldehyde.
CH2OH alcohol. It is alcohol to alcohol, huh?
Aldehyde, sir.
Aldehyde. Which kind of aldehyde?
1 degree, sir.
No. Aldehyde, there is no degree. So it's 1 degree alcohol. Only formaldehyde. Formaldehyde will produce, what is that? 1 degree alcohol. If we use except formaldehyde, any aldehyde, you can get 2 degree alcohols. I think so. You remembered with this RMgX with HCHO, it forms 1 degree alcohol. You should remember all those things. If RMgX, if it is react with except any aldehyde except HCHO, except formaldehyde, then it forms 2 degree alcohol. Okay. And RMgX, or MgX that will be reacting with the ketone that forms 3-degree alcohol. You should remember all these tricks. These are all much important tricks to remember to write in examination, because the examination they will be asking these kind of questions only. Direct questions you can't expect much. Okay. So they will be giving a conversion like this. So first of all, you have to, whatever the conversion is given to you, you just you have to first write what is reactant, what is product, and what is the difference from reactant and product. Suppose number of carbon, here 2 carbon, here 3 carbon. Here we use the Grignard reagent. Then what should be our idea? So what kind of product I can get? I can get 1-degree alcohol. If it is a 1-degree alcohol I should react with formaldehyde only. If you want to get 2-degree alcohol, I should react with any aldehyde except formaldehyde. That is depends on what kind of alcohol is asked here. Okay, it entirely based on what kind of alcohol is asked here. Based on that only the reactant we have to take. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And next one is up to which the alcohol is over. The next one is a phenol. What do you mean by phenol? So have you copied this? Oh, this is a question only. Okay, I'll send you. What do you mean by phenol?
Made plus alcohol.
Phenol. It is nothing but the simplest hydroxy derivative. Simplest hydroxy derivative. Simplest hydroxy derivative of benzene. Benzene is phenol. Okay, so nothing but from that benzene ring, instead of one hydrogen, one OH group is attached. This is what is called a phenol. Okay, this is what a phenol. Very, very important one. Okay, phenols are very, very important one. Okay, so here instead of one hydrogen in benzene, that can be the replacement of one hydrogen atom by OH group in benzene ring, or the simplest hydroxy derivative of benzene is phenol. Okay, the replacement of there is nothing but C6H5OH. This is a phenol. What is a benzene? C6H5H. Instead of this hydrogen, one OH is substituted here. Okay, that's what the phenol is a fact. Okay, so this is what a phenol. Phenol is very important compound. And here we have a number of categories. Okay, so either it may, in general, in phenol, the carbon OH is attached. This is a phenol, and this carbon, which carbon? This carbon. What is the hybridization of this carbon?
sp2.
sp2. Very nice. sp2 hybridized carbon. Why it has sp2? Because it has single bond. Nah? If it is a single bond, it should have some sp3 hybridization. Then why it has sp2?
Has a double bond with another carbon, sir.
Sir. So
Double bond with another carbon. No. Carbon double bond should not be considered. Okay, this will not be considered. The bond between this alcohol, bond between this group and this group, then only this carbon should have sp2 hybridized carbon. Then how it will be? So actually phenol involving in many resonating structures. We know that this is a phenol. This is a phenol, 1, 2, 3, and here it is OH is there. And general OH group is an electron donating group, and that will donate a pair of electron to this bond, and this carbon already in 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds. Then one more electron, one more pair of electron is coming, then it forms partial double bond. If it forms a partial double bond, it will shift to the electron to here. Okay, because of formation of the carbon getting 5 bonds. That's what that can shift over the electron to next carbon, adjacent carbon. So here now negative charge is there, and here this bond is getting break, and this bond is formed, and here there will be a double bond OH. Because of electron donation, the oxygen got positive charge. Okay, this is the first resonating structure. And second resonating structure is what? and now this electron will be shifted. Now this carbon is getting 5 bond, and that will shift over the electron to here. So now what I will get? I'll get a structure like this. That is, here I got negative charge. Here there will be a formation of double bond. Here there will be a double bond, and here OH plus is there. And next resonating structure. This will shift the electron here, and this will shift over the electron here. So then, what will be my next structure? Next structure will be like this. That is, here I got negative charge. Here bond is formed. Here bond is formed. Here double bond OH, and here plus charge. And one more thing, one more resonating structure will be there. So in what way? This will shift over the electron, and this will taken away this electron to the positive oxygen. And now what will happen? Again, here OH, here one double bond, here one double bond, here one double bond. Now we have 5 structures. Structure number 1, structure number 2, structure number 3, structure number 4, structure number 5. Okay. So these 2, 3, 4 are having resonating structures. How many? You just assume it here, this carbon and this carbon, this functional group attached to carbon. Okay. Now the carbon functional group bond will be having partial double bond characteristic. This is what a partial double bond. Partial double bond character. Once it has a partial double bond character, then it will be coming under sp2 hybridization. Okay. And the very important thing, suppose if it is a partial double bond character, it has sp2 hybridization. And very, very important thing is you should know this thing. So here it is OH 1, 2, 3. Do you have any idea about ortho and para and meta positions? Ortho, para, meta positions, because it's a aromatic compound. That's what we should know, which one is ortho, which one is meta, which one is para. Okay, so functional group is attached here. And if another functional group is attached here or here, then it forms ortho position. This is also ortho position. Is that clear? This is ortho position. Ortho. Suppose functional group is here and next substrate is here, then it is called meta position. Suppose functional group is here, functional group at the same position, 1, 4 position. So this is known as para position. Okay. So here ortho means 1, 2 or 1, 6. If you number like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2 and 1, 6. That is adjacent position. Adjacent positions are ortho. So after adjacent position, that is 1, 3 or 1, 5 or meta position. Only one position, that is 1, 4. Opposite positions. Okay, that is called para position. Is that clear? Is that clear or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next one is common nomenclature. Before common nomenclature, we must know something that is called monohydric alcohol. Monohydric alcohol. What do you mean by monohydric alcohol? Monohydric, dihydric phenol, trihydric phenol, or polyhydric phenol. What is the meaning of hydric? In the classification of alcohol itself, we discussed about this monohydric. Monohydric means 1 OH group is there. Dihydric means 2 OH group is there. Trihydric means 3 OH group is there. Okay. So monohydric phenol, dihydric phenol, trihydric phenol or polyhydric phenol. Okay. Now let us see some examples. And here the common names of alcohols, monohydric, phenol, monohydric, dihydric, and trihydric or polyhydric is very, very important. Okay, let's see some common names of phenol. Phenol is accepted IUPAC nomenclature, so don't worry about that. So here it is a monohydric alcohol or monohydric phenol. That's a phenol nomenclature. This is monohydric. Monohydric means what? Only one OH group in the benzene ring. If suppose dihydric is what? There will be a 2 OH group is there. 2 OH should be there. So then we have to look at the position if OH group is made here or the OH group first position or third position may here, or it may be OH group 1, 4 position also be there. Okay. Now how will you name it? These are all the common names. These are all the common name. Okay, common name. There is no certain rules and regulations. Okay, for common names. Okay, so some of the common names, aldehydes and ketones, they have some certain rules and regulations. After making it for our convenient only, they can give some certain rules for common name also. So we'll discuss in the aldehyde ketone chapter. So here common name, there is no certain rules and regulations. Whoever is making based on that its what is that source of compound, based on its property, based on where it is coming from. Okay, likewise only the common name will be preferred. Okay, common name will be given. So here the common name for this compound is catechol. Catechol. And here common name for this compound is resorcinol. Resorcinol. And here the common name is phenol. These are all the common names. Keep it in mind, these are all common names. Okay, the green color written is common names. Okay, suppose trihydric alcohols, tri or polyhydric alcohols. Tri or polyhydric alcohols. So I have to write the structure like this. So benzene ring and one OH is here, another OH is here, or another OH is here. This is a one category. Another one. One OH is here, another OH is here, and another OH is in para position. This is the second one. And here one OH is here, one OH is here, and one OH is here. And we should know the common name for these compound also. Very, very important. Common names. So this is nothing but a pyrogalol. Pyrogalol. You just memorize it. There is no other way to remember this. So memorize it. So sometime in IUPAC nomenclature, they may ask a question like this. That is write the IUPAC nomenclature for pyrogalol. Okay, that time you should not struggle. That's what we are concentrating on common name also. And here it is a hydroxyquinol. Hydroxyquinol. It's very simple. So 1/4 position. This is quinol. 1 and 4th position is occupied by OH. That is quinol. In second position we have hydroxy group. That's what is hydroxyquinol. Otherwise we can say 2-hydroxyquinol or alpha hydroxyquinol or okay, orthohydroxyquinol. You can say like this. Okay, so hydroxyquinol is a common name. And what about this one? This is fluoroglucinol. Fluoroglucinol. These are all the important common names for these monohydric, dihydric, and trihydric phenols. Very, very important. Okay, just we can make a copy, then we will. You can copy it down now. I think so. You copied it to trihydric, I think so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you copied everything?
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Fine, fine, fine. So this is what? This is the orthocresol. Cresol. Also, this is also a common name. Orthocresol. If one OH group and CH3 group is there, this is what a cresol is there. And here it is a metacresol. Metacresol. And this is a paracresol. Paracresol. Okay. All these are common names. All these are common names. Okay. Very important. All are common names only. From that common names, they can ask you to write the IUPAC nomenclature. So that's what you have to memorize all those things. Usually, in generally, from that alcohol chapter only, these kind of questions will be asked. So remaining chapters, common names are not much important. So, but in alcohol chapter, the common names are very much important. Okay, in aldehydes and ketones also, some common names are very important. Sometimes they may ask, they may given a common name. They ask you to write IUPAC nomenclature. Okay. Okay. You just copy it down. Let's finish today class. Okay.
Done, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Then. We'll see next week. Fine. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me.
Thank you, sir.
Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.